So let's do a little bit more along the same theme, because this is evolving as it goes along. Welcome back to Delboy's Garage. Right, here it is so far. These 10mm holes, I just think they should be a bit bigger, purely because I want them closer together, and I just think in relation to the scale of the tank they're just a little bit too small. So as you can't undrill a hole, I'm going to make them 12mm, no bigger than that, and then if they need to be bigger I can do that after. So I'm not going to do any deburring until I'm sure that they're the size I want. But for now, pop in the next size cone drill and we'll pop these out to 12mm. The reason this is taking a little longer to get through is I don't want to push too hard, because this is so soft. If you lean on it too much you end up putting, like that one, a little bit of a dent in it, which is not good. Some go through really easy and others just tend to really give a challenge, because I think it depends where the steel's been bent by the pressing process, and that's hardened that bit and not other bits, so it's not a stable product. Right, that I think that's better. May go bigger yet, not sure, but I'll decide. The next thing is a little bit of a different one. Now this is the next idea I've got, right? What I want to do, you said medieval, and that struck a chord. I love that. I absolutely love the kind of medieval thing. I'm thinking very much of the horse armour. If any of you ever saw knights with their horses had armour plates on, I'm thinking of that kind of look, and most armour, in fact nearly all armour, was riveted together. So on the sense of rivets, what I'm thinking of is this. Now, not for these holes, because these holes are going to remain as holes for decorative reasons, but come in here with dome nuts and just mirror the holes all the way down, which will kind of give it like studs effectively. And the only way to do this, I can kill two birds with one stone. What I've done is last night I took 3 hours to go take a load of bolts, grind them flat on the backs, cut them to the right length and space them. Now the principle of this is, these have all got to be deburred, but I've done one there, is that bolt will go through from the inside and will effectively then, this is not the hole they'll go in. I'm going to drill some 8mm holes because these are 8mm bolts, so I've got to do that next, but they will go effectively like that, so they'll produce studs on the outside that are bolted in, and in here these will give the required space that I want. I want this to stand off the surface of the tank by about 20mm, so that the tank is like a 3D effect. That's where I'm going with this, giving you a little clue there. That's not everything, but that's a little cluette for you. So these are going to represent the spacers. When I bolt all these in, they're going inside this particular, so they'll go inside like that, and they'll represent a 20mm spacer. Now obviously there are currently just under 100 holes, I think, something like that, 98 or something, I can't remember, too bored to count them, but that 100 holes, if I'm coming inside there, are going to be clearly less, because it's a lesser circumference. So I've got 50 of these, and this is what I did last night. This was last night's fun and games, just producing, there's the 50 odd bolts, well 48 there, 2 more here, and they're just the 2 initial pieces. Now I did rob every single 8mm bolt that I had, and as you can see, cut them down so they represent a little spacer and a stud like that. And that took something like 3 hours last night faffing around. Absolutely not worth filming. But now every single one of those, even if they're Allen bolts, they can be literally glued with metal glue onto the surface of the tank and give me a 20mm standoff, and 50 of those glued on points that are never ever going to come off, because this glue that we use, this is the stuff, it's this serious stuff, liquid metal panel bond. It's the stuff that I put this mesh on with, and a couple of times I made a mistake with that, tried to pull it off, and honestly you cannot get it off. I've got a little bit of it here, just on one of the sockets. When it's on a socket like that, it just does not come off. You can't.
Well, it's on the exhaust, on the scrambler. It gets hot. It doesn't come off.
That's right. It gets red hot on the back of the heat shields. I mean, I could get that off with a grinder perhaps, but then I'm not grinding my sockets. So there we are. That's what I'm going to use, and that's effectively a dab of that. Is going to go on the back of every single one, and then it will be popped on. Mainly because I'm not welding. I'm not going to weld the surface of the new tank, mainly because you've seen how thin this steel is. It's literally 22 gauge steel, and my welding, well, I don't think anybody's welding, unless you are a real talented, gifted person, is up to making sure you can put a really meaningful tack weld in there that will hold and not crack off and not blow through it. Blowing through my new tank, enough of the tank's leaking, so we just glue it on. Simple as that, and it's petrol safe as well, as I've proved, because I tried to use petrol to get that off my sockets and it doesn't come off. Right, so I've got to mark 50 odd holes before we go any further, and the idea is just coming in a square like that. Again, like when I did these, it's roughly approximate, so it represents roughly where they're going to be, and that one can just go in there as a central one, and then I can come out there and then pick up that one, and obviously when I start drilling them I can eye them as the holes are going in. They start to open out. Goes in there, and I just think two, one there and one there. There we are. So that's the first one. So they'll go, all these holes, 8mm holes in there, then mark up the rest, and we'll get some more holes cut. Today is a day of drilling holes. See you in a minute. Yeah. Symmetry is everything. Calms your OCD. Got to get it right. Now these are just 8mm holes. So take a little bit less time. Right, and the last but not least. Right, here we are. Now this next, honestly, this is the kind of stuff that is difficult to make a video of, because it's just time consuming and rather boring, as you probably find. Let's just deburr that one for a minute. Right, just deburr one of those holes, just as an example for you. There it is. Take one of the. So this is the effect. That, as I said, will act as a spacer on the inside. That comes through there. And I'll just screw down with a little bit of Loctite in place. That's it. So they're going to be 50 fold all the way around. I think there's, in all there's 50, there's 24 on the back I think and 26 on the front each side. Something like that, can't be bothered to count them. But there we are. That's the effect we're going for so far. There's the centre section, and I may just cut those out completely. I'm thinking maybe some mesh. I've got a little quantity of mesh left just for the inside. That might work, I don't know. What do you think? But there we are. It's developing as it goes. I'm making this up literally as I go along. I'm not following any plan, and I'm letting it evolve by itself. And the bolts, as you can see here, are all ready. I can't put them in until I've deburred everything. And that inside, that's in a right old mess. So I need to get the lapper on that, get all of that out completely, which is just noisy and messy and time consuming, and then deburr all the outside, and then I can put them all in, because I want to put a coat of paint over it before I put them in, because I don't want to paint the bolts. I want to leave the bolts in steel so they actually look, because they're stainless, so that should look pretty cool. So there we are, that was it for number 10.
I think so.
Number 10 already, or is it number 9?
No, I don't know.
I don't know, it isn't counting, it ain't even double figures yet. Take it easy, ride safe, thanks for watching, see you next time.